Hey friends, just imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a vast desert. The sun is blazing overhead. There are no supermarkets, no restaurants, no refrigerators, not even a reliable source of water. Just endless sand stretching to the horizon. Now imagine surviving here for days, sometimes weeks, with very little food. Sounds impossible, right? But for thousands of years, people across Arabia, North Africa, and parts of Asia managed to do exactly that. And surprisingly, one of their greatest survival tools wasn't a weapon, wasn't a shelter, and wasn't even water. It was milk, camel milk. A simple white drink that helped entire civilizations survive some of the harshest environments on Earth. But how did camel milk become so important? Why did desert tribes value it more than many other foods? And why is this ancient drink suddenly attracting attention around the world today? The answers take us deep into the history of deserts, nomads, trade routes, and one extraordinary animal. And trust me, the story of camel milk is far more fascinating than most people realize. Welcome back to Taste Timeline, the channel where we uncover the hidden stories behind the foods and drinks that shaped human history. And today's journey takes us into one of the world's most unforgiving environments, the desert. When most people think about deserts, they imagine extreme heat, scarcity, and survival. But for countless generations, millions of people called these landscapes home. From the Bedouin tribes of Arabia to nomadic communities across Africa, camels weren't just animals. They were lifelines. They carried people across vast distances. They transported goods along ancient trade routes. And perhaps most importantly, they provided a source of nourishment that could sustain life when little else was available. That nourishment was camel milk, and its story begins thousands of years ago. Long before modern cities rose across the Middle East, people lived a nomadic lifestyle. Food was not always easy to find. Fresh fruits and vegetables were rare. Water sources could be hundreds of kilometers apart. Yet camels were perfectly adapted to this harsh environment. These remarkable animals could travel long distances, endure extreme temperatures, and survive conditions that many other animals could not. But there was another incredible advantage. Female camels continued producing milk even during difficult conditions. For nomadic families, this was nothing short of a miracle. A single camel could provide a steady source of nutrition day after day. Rich in vitamins, minerals, protein, and hydration, camel milk became one of the most valuable resources in desert life. In many communities, it wasn't simply a drink, it was breakfast, lunch, dinner, and survival itself. Some travelers even described journeys where camel milk became their primary source of nourishment for extended periods. Without it, many desert crossings may never have been possible. But camel milk wasn't only about survival. Over time, it became deeply connected to culture and tradition. Among Bedouin tribes, offering camel milk to guests became a symbol of hospitality and respect. A visitor arriving at a desert camp might be welcomed with fresh camel milk before anything else. The drink represented generosity, trust, and community. Ancient traders crossing the famous Arabian trade routes also relied heavily on camels and their milk. These routes connected civilizations across Asia, Africa, and Europe. Spices, frankincense, textiles, and precious goods traveled through the desert. And behind many of those journeys stood camels quietly supporting human life. Some historians even argue that camel domestication helped transform trade and communication across entire regions. In a way, camel milk helped fuel the movement of people, goods, and ideas across continents. That's a remarkable legacy for something many people today have never even tasted. What's even more surprising is that modern science has renewed interest in camel milk. Researchers have found that camel milk contains important nutrients including vitamin C, calcium, potassium, and protein in desert environments, where fresh produce was often limited. These nutrients became incredibly valuable. Many people also find camel milk easier to digest compared to traditional cow's milk. As global interest in alternative foods continues to grow, camel milk has started appearing in supermarkets, specialty stores, and health food markets around the world. What was once considered a regional survival food is now becoming an international product. Countries across the Middle East, Africa, Europe, and even North America are exploring camel dairy industries. It's an ancient drink entering the modern age. And that's something few people could have imagined just a few decades ago. But despite all the modern attention, the true importance of camel milk goes far beyond nutrition. Its real story is about human resilience. Imagine living in a place where survival was never guaranteed, where every journey carried risks, where resources were limited, and yet generation after generation found ways to thrive. Camel milk became part of that success story. It supported families, protected travelers, strengthened communities, and helped people build lives in landscapes that many would consider impossible. That's why for countless desert cultures, camel milk was never just food. It was security, hope, and survival. So friends, the next time you hear someone mention camel milk, remember, you're not just hearing about a drink. You're hearing about thousands of years of human history, a story of deserts, nomads, trade routes, and one extraordinary animal that helped entire civilizations survive. And honestly, that's the magic of food history. Sometimes the simplest foods carry the greatest stories. If you enjoyed this episode, please like this video and subscribe to Taste Timeline for more incredible food history journeys. And now I want to ask you, have you ever tried camel milk? Would you like to taste it someday? Or do you think you could survive in the desert living mostly on camel milk? Tell me in the comments below. I always enjoy reading them. Until next time, keep exploring history through food. Goodbye for now.